Dr. Janvi Bhattacharjee, and I've been teaching for the last 25 years. And many times students ask me, what is it that makes a good presentation? And it's very relevant in today's times. It's necessary. Sometimes you are made to do a presentation in your lectures. Sometimes later on in life, when you go ahead and you're going to be talking to your board, sometimes you have to make a presentation about yourself, your products. So it becomes necessary for you to understand that a good presentation really is a very nice selling point for yourself. So considering this, I just thought I'll put down a few points for you, and it might just help you to understand how to go about making a good presentation. In order to make your presentation more effective, in order to ensure that your presentation is more relevant, in order that you have adequate material in your presentation, it makes sense that you take some time out and prepare your material well in advance. Like it also does make, or you may have a query that what happens if there is an impromptu presentation to be made. In that case, you will really have to test your skills. But if you are prepared for it, if you have a previous deadline to meet, then maybe you could sit out, work on a good presentation, practice it a number of times so that you do not falter on that final day and you have been a better prepared person. And that will go a long way in making your presentation more effective and, of course, more sensitized to what exactly is required at that stage. Second, I've put it very close to what you have in the last one, practice your speech. In fact, some of the very old-fashioned traditional trainers, voice trainers, people who teach you how to throw your voice, people who go into method acting, such kind of people tell you should always practice your speech. The way you pronounce your things, what you're going to say. In the past, many people also prepare scripts based on which they try to make their presentation more effective. But if you are not able to handle it, it is also fine. In that case, just remember you will just have to give your best on that day. The third and the very, very important thing is know your audience. Sometimes you may actually want to start with a story. And the story you are narrating may not even resonate with your audience if they are not going to know what you're talking about. So if you're talking to, let's say, a bunch of small children, then obviously your stories will have to be around them so that they love you and they want to accept what you think. To senior professionals, then in that case, it's more relevant that you actually behave more matured, you speak in a matured tone, you avoid your everyday slangs in your speech, which I think one thing that this generation will have to perhaps adopt is not speak the colloquial language when you're speaking at a formal presentation. It's also relevant that you make an effective first impression. I always give certain examples, and that is, of course, of people who come out of their selves just because they are going to be able to make a good first impression. I'll give you an example of Mr. Barack Obama, who used to be the president of America in the last term. He's the ex-president. If you've ever seen him talk, if you've ever seen him, the way he comes out to connect with the people he's talking, he rolls up his sleeves, he tries to reach out to the people. That makes a connect. So it's very, very important what your first impression is going to be. Sometimes this is very important, how good you look. You may be thinking that, what difference would it make? My presentation would just be, it's going to be good or bad. My marks are this, my marks may not really be relevant, but you really need to groom yourself. I per se do not like a person who comes in unshaven, perhaps, a person who does not come prepared in his dressing. No one's asking you to go around buying new clothes, but even if your old clothes could perhaps be worn in a more smarter fashion. Secondly, if you are going in for a formal presentation, get formally dressed. It is such a eyesore to watch a person dressed informally for a formal presentation. It may not be necessary that you're always dressed in Western formals. It may also be okay if you dress in Indian formals. But when you dress, when you groom yourself, it shows on you, it reflects on you. And the person, remember, when you talk, the person's watching you. And that's very, very important. I always, and perhaps this is something I've been telling my students all the time, be confident. It's all right. You could make a mistake. There are no perfect speeches in this world. Every speech is undergoing a continuous change. There is always a possibility of you changing things. There's always a possibility of you bettering something. So don't look at your speech, just speak. Some of the best orators in the world have always been media shy, have been shy in front of audiences, but they've changed themselves. They've ensured that at least they've been able to reflect a sense of confidence which everybody loves. And I've seen many a time people change over time just because they've been able to master that confidence. Now, you may really have a question: how do I get that confidence? It's very simple. All that you need to do is to keep speaking. So, in case you get an opportunity, please come out to speak. Please come out to be a part of a gathering. Please come out to try and express yourself at different gatherings. That's where confidence will come to you. The next thing is even more important. Who likes a drab person speaking? Who likes a person who's not even looking at you? Who likes a person who's just going to stay there, stand, and look stoically at you, wondering what really is happening? If you don't enjoy it, don't go to talk. But if you want to talk, you'll have to smile and you'll have to connect. My giveaway here is when you want to connect, there's only one way to do it. Look into the eyes of the person, and that will sail you through. If you're feeling scared, if you look straight into the eye, the person's going to nod with you. Remember that, and that will be a very good takeaway for you. This is the best that I can speak. Speak from your heart. It is so sad that you've been told to speak about something you do not agree to, you do not know what you have to speak, and you don't speak from your heart. You're mumbling and rumbling within yourself. That's never connecting. That's bad speaking, and that's not something which one should try to even think of. So please learn to speak from your heart. How would you like it if I was speaking here in a language with my syllables not correct, the way I speak is not correct, the way I am trying to reach out is not correct? You would really not like it. So, one thing is the correctness of talking. No one's telling you that only speak English. You could speak in Hindi, you could speak in Marathi, you could speak in perhaps any other language you are comfortable with. But whatever you speak, speak so beautifully that the person hearing will understand what you know. Remember that language came to us almost as the best form of communication, and no other humans, no other animal other than the humans have been able to do this so beautifully. So don't be such a difficult person that who doesn't want to express that. This is something which please you should follow, and that is be clear. Please know what you're talking, be clear in your mind, and express. When I say express, don't say half the thing, eat up half the thing, think the other things in your mind. There has to be something you need to talk, and that is going to be very clear in the way you talk. Now, today, if I was talking to you and speaking half things in myself, half things which I just kept back, I don't think so you would want to listen to me. That's of course, very, very important. Starts from the first and comes back here. Have the content. Now, I do recall that I was once called in to speak on some aspects of gender equality, and I found somebody who was not even talking anywhere around gender equality. So please, you should know what you need to talk, you should know what your themes are, and you should know how to get that across. Do it, and trust me, it's going to be a absolutely stunner of a speech. Uh, this is India. And when I say this is India, I should have the flow and the potential to at least add more languages sometimes when you talk to bigger audiences. बात करते हैं हिंदी में करते हैं कभी चाहिए तो किसी और भाषा में करते हैं but we should be keeping on talking and we should be bringing it very effortlessly into your speech. Please do not fumble, and it is not a bad thing to know more languages. The more you know better, the better you can integrate into your speeches. Of course, this is where I come, of course, to tell you that you must have a story. Begin with one, sometimes put it in the middle, sometimes at the end. If I started telling you a story, I would run short of time. Otherwise, I would have told you so many stories. There are so many stories to tell you that people have actually become great speakers just by practicing some maybe pointers that we're putting across. Of course, it's always courteous, nice to say a thank you. So many speakers that I meet, so many speakers that I'm told to judge, so many speakers who come up to the dais get a little confused at the middle. And then, of course, when they're at the end, they're so hard pressed because it was not a planned speech. Maybe they've overshot their times that they forget to say a thank you. Remember, someone's heard you. So please say that thank you. I'm summing it all up for you in a quick way. So prepare your material, given, please do it. Practice your speech, give away all the time, please, one time before. Know your audience. You really need to know your audience. If you do not know your audience, please, the audience will not even accept you. Make an effective first impression. Either you like the person or you don't like the person. I always have a fantastic way to judge my first impression, but I'll keep that for another time. Groom yourselves. I'm going to repeat that. Look good. We all love to look good. You don't have to be an actor to look good. You don't have to go to a parlor to look good. You just can be a good human being. So be good. Confidence, extremely important. How do you talk? Smile. I love to smile. I love a smiling person. Please smile all the time. And of course, as you are getting to all of this groove, please remember that have your story ready, one or two stories, something in the beginning, something at the end makes it look so nice. And of course, what I'm going to do then is thank you. Have a lovely day. Please be best speakers in this world and anything else, please connect. You will find all my details that is there on the slide. Thank you.